Namaste. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana. I am an intuitive reader, intuitive healer, yoga instructor, and teacher trainer. And today is my regular metaphysical chat. And today we're going to talk about tarot decks. And I want to acknowledge and thank Nancy at Paper Moon Tarot. She has been coming up with a series of really brilliant tags to help to look at our decks, look at our tarot decks in a new way and a new light. And I really appreciate her creativity in bringing all these decks forward. So I'm going to share with you, just get my other window open here so I can see all of you, share with you decks, tarot decks today, and some oracle decks as well too, that fit in with the theme of different vacations. And I'm going to go through all of Nancy's prompts as well as one prompt that I've added at the end. So hello, long hair, skinny eye toe, welcome. And Alina, aloha, Jonathan, appreciate you being here this afternoon, Friday afternoon for me. All right, so I'm going to get Nancy's prompts up here on the screen, and I have a few notes as well too, and all of the prompts are down in the description box as well too. So if you want to follow along and play this game or pull out your decks, and then I will add the decks that I am later on after I edit the description box. I'll add the decks that I am speaking to. So Nancy, it's beautiful to acknowledge that things are opening up and we will have an opportunity to travel again soon. I hope. I'm just really itching to move myself. And so I appreciate this tag. I appreciate just the time and energy to think about a little bit about traveling and so forth. And the first prompt is tropical beach vacation. And when I think of a tropical beach vacation, this is one of my favorites, just to have connection with the salty water and to be in the salty water. And so this is about connecting with the elements of the earth in the water, right? The elements of Mother Nature in the earth. And one of the decks that I do not have in my collection is the Whispers of the Ocean Oracle, which is a deck that I would love. I am so coming to Maui, Jonathan, when we have the retreat. So I don't have the Whispers of the Ocean Oracle, and I would really like to have that as part of my collection, because one of my favorite things to do when I do go to Hawaii or other places is to snorkel and or just to swim and to be. I have no fear of the ocean, and I love to be in it, floating, swimming, under, above, body surfing, all this kind of stuff. This particular deck here is one that I haven't worked with ever, but one of the reasons that I purchased it is called Tarot of the North Atlantic. It's not a very common deck. You don't see it too often. It is, it's a fabric collage deck, and that was one of the reasons I purchased it. It came up in a conversation when I was sharing with you the Enchanted Tarot. The tarot, the other fabric collage deck that I have, the old one. And so there is something about this deck which is really kind of beautiful. And I'm going to go and get the ones with the sea creatures on them, because that's what this is about for me. So going on a tropical beach vacation is not so much about lying on the beach and tanning, though I do love to have the sun on my skin, but it's about connecting with the water. I love to connect with the water. And I feel like this deck is I love the seascapes that the creator has made with her fabric creations. So it's really, really beautiful. So Tarot of the North Atlantic makes me feel connected to the ocean. Yeah. And there's something about this. And so Whispers of the Ocean Oracle is one that I definitely want to add to my collection. Let me just say to everybody else coming in, I see Shannon's here. Kimmy, hello, Kimmy. And Marina, hello, I haven't seen you in ages. Welcome. That is good to know. I'm glad you are confirming that. So that's one that's going to be coming very soon to my collection. And Shannon is a prairie girl, terrified of the ocean. Yeah, it's really, really pretty deck. I am the exact opposite. I am so in love with all things, all seasons connected to the ocean. Now, down where I live, so I'm not far from the ocean, just a short walk to the ocean, and I'm on the coast of British Columbia where it's very, very cold. So we don't get a chance to swim too often, but we have this little cove down at the end of the beach, which my daughter and I call Mermaid Cove. And we go there and we pretend that we're mermaids, and we try to find a time when nobody is around so we can get naked and go skinny dipping. And so when I look at Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot, I like this particular vibe of mermaid. I'm not too, hello Anna and Mary Beth. Oh, great. There's a break in NORWAC. I'm glad you could pop in. NORWAC is an astrology conference that Mary Beth is a part of. Mary Beth is as an astrologer. And so to be in the water and to let your hair down and to swim and feel the energy of the ocean, this is what I love about this deck. The mermaid cards are my favorite cards. I love the water element in Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot. So this really makes me feel like a beach vacation. And, you know, to tell you the honest truth, I don't have to go too far, and it's a matter of just making space and time to go down there and to not be in a rush, you know, to not be in a rush when I go down there. And I've already been in the ocean a few times this year, and I dove right off the dock. And, you know, of course it's freezing cold, but there's just something about it. So my beach vacation, I'm going to probably take my new deck, Whispers of the Ocean Oracle, but either one of these two decks is definitely going to do that for me as well too. Yeah, there's just something about the feel of the sun on my skin. I am a Leo, and, you know, I do have that, my favorite, there's something about the Temperance card in the, I've shown it so many times on my channel. You know, the one in the, I can't even think of the name, in the Marielle. And so this is how I feel in the ocean. You know, it really makes me feel alive. And I love, 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 love beach vacations. So where would I go? Oh, and this is another thing that Nancy wanted us to say. So the last time I came back from India, I ran out of money and I wanted to go to the Maldives. So right way, way, way up there on my beach vacation is to do a trip of the Maldives. Now, the Maldives is a huge archipelago of islands, and I will definitely at some point go to a couple of places there. And it's quite expensive because of well, whatever, you know what it's like to do tropical vacations. But so that's way, way up there. And then I would love to do some kind of an adventure tour of the Galapagos. So the Galapagos is for sure, it's going to happen at some point in my life. I don't know when, but I can't not have a Galapagos tour. So those are two very expensive sea vacations up there on my list. Okay, so the next vacation is the mountain nature, hike in the woods, commune with nature, encounter your furry friends. You know what? I feel like I do this every single day. I'm up there in the mountains and playing with nature, and I am so lucky. I've done a few videos on my channel sharing some of the nature walks around here, and yesterday I shot a new one, and I will have to say that it will be up, I don't know, sometime soon. So when I was thinking of this, okay, so there's something about the wands in the Wild Unknown Tarot. the wands and the owls in this particular deck that makes me feel at home. And I have no fear. I have no fear of the wildlife. I do not carry bear spray like most people do. I don't even put a bell on Amber. And when I think of communing with nature, I think of the Wild Unknown, the Oracle deck, and the tarot deck as well too. I just feel at home in nature. I feel so comfortable. And to me, it doesn't really matter if I am in the ocean or I am on the mountain. As long as I'm one place or another, I just feel really, really connected. And spiders. You know what? There's something about spider webs. I feel quite privileged. I don't want to mix up these two decks. They're so easy to mix up. If I had a bigger box, I might actually just shuffle them all together because they're pretty powerful. Love the little sparkles in the Wild Unknown. And this is how I feel. This is how I feel when I'm out there in the mountains. And I don't know, maybe it was 25 years spent living in Whistler and being really, really comfortable. I'm not sure what it is, but no fear here. So if I were to go on a mountain nature hike and go somewhere that I haven't been, you know, this would be kind of a different experience, because another thing on my bucket list is to go to each of the geographical chakra points on the earth. And I'm sure in that journey, there's going to be a lot of hiking and an adventure, especially the chakra point in Australia. So I would definitely take some of these animal decks. Now, there's another component here that I think is really, really important to connecting with nature. And that is the fairy element. I have a little friend. He's about 4 feet tall and he's quite heavy, and he follows me in the forest. And one of the things I like to do when I'm out in the forest is to have little conversations with these elementals that I capture out of the corner of my eye. And so when I am in the forest, there's always awareness of the elemental beings. And I feel like a lot of the time I feel like I'm trespassing, you know, and so I want to acknowledge and make sure that I'm connecting with all of the elementals. And then I've shared so many times, you know, when I'm working with Tarot of the Hidden Realm, that Raven Fallon's Messenger Oracle is such an important deck to have. And I also want to let you know that if you don't know, this deck now comes in a borderless version. And oh my God, it just makes me, I don't want to spend money buying the same deck that I already have, but, and then at the same time saying this, you know, because this one is borderless and this one has a border, they kind of look good together. I'm going to go back to the comments because I know I missed something. So part of my mountain nature experience is not only with the 3-dimensional wildlife, but the 5th dimensional or 4th dimensional beings that we don't necessarily see with the naked eye. So that's a really important part of my connection with mountains and nature. I feel a little bit out of my element when I go to the city. And there is when I leave here and I go to Vancouver, I go on a ferry and I cross a body of water, drive the car, go off the car, drive into the city. And then when I'm coming back, it's like, I can't wait to get on the ferry. It's like this, it's like a bridge, right? It's like a transport. It's a transition from one world to the other. Let's go to Amy's comment. You recently went on a birthday desert road trip. Wow. A very mind expansive experience. Right? And so Northern Australia for the water as well too. And this is the kind of also the experience that I had in connecting with nature, is finding that the spirit of the animals. There's lots of decks that do that, but this is one that is really, I feel so connected with. I also have several ant friends in the forest, and I say hello to the ants. I touch the ants. I observe them. I see if they've moved. And I love looking at that particular quality of connecting with the forest. So yeah. So sea and mountains really, really make me feel alive. And that's why I go there every day, because it's part of I couldn't do this work if I didn't take time to connect. And I feel like there's a real grounding energy in both of those kinds of vacations. And it's almost like I'm on vacation all the time. I can go to the sea or I can go to the mountains. So it's pretty special. Okay, so the next one, this is like completely on the opposite side of the spectrum, right? So it is a theme park vacation. Seriously. And oh my God, you take your kids, you go with friends, you go with family to a theme park vacation. It's really, really fun, but it is super, super noisy. Super noisy. So what do we do when we go to a theme park? Well, if I have the extra money and can stay in a hotel on site, that's always way more fun, because then you can go to all the special events and you can go to the concerts at night, and everybody can go and do their own thing and then meet up back at the hotel on site. Like, that is a dream. And I have had the privilege of doing that several times, both in the West Coast in Disneyland and also in the East Coast at different places. And I've never stayed on site at Universal Studios, and I've never done the Harry Potter Hogwarts thing, which is something that I would love to do. My daughter has been to Paris Disneyland, and I've been to, never been to the one in Tokyo. Other amusement parks, haven't been to the amusement park in Toronto. It's okay. Like, I feel like I've changed quite a bit, and it wouldn't be my go-to vacation, but if it was part of a trip that was planned, I definitely would go to a vacation. But what deck would I take? And why would I take that deck? So this might seem totally weird to you, but I am who I am. And so if I were going on that kind of a vacation, I would need to take something that is going to dial me down quickly, right? And so I had a couple of thoughts on this. So one of my thoughts was to take the Ember and, I changed the screen. Let's go back. To take the Ember and Aura, because if I'm at a theme park vacation, I really need to get back, as soon as I get back to the hotel room or get back from supper, I need to dial it down and get into my my peaceful zenny zone, right? Because there's no way. I have issues with my ears, and even if I pack my bra and my pockets with crystals and shungite and various things, I'm still going to feel a little frazzled when I get back. And so I would take a deck that has a lot of white space and a deck that makes me feel calm. So either something like Ember and Aura, or this new deck that I've been working with, which is the Field Tarot. I feel there's a lot of white space here, and I am really appreciating the tranquility in the Field Tarot. So even the Suit of Swords, it feels like it has a really high manifestation of the energy of the Suit of Swords. There's something really peaceful about this. So on this list of peaceful, making the transition from the theme park vacation so that I can recharge and restore, the other one that I'm thinking is kind of does that, which again, I'm kind of a different creature, is shadowscapes. And when I work with shadowscapes, I actually started using this again. I used this week with readings when I went into the store and did a few readings. And I was so happy to have this deck out on the table and in my hands. And I feel like this deck is another one that really dials it down for me. And that's what I need when I'm feeling, like maybe I've gone to the city and I've had a busy day, or definitely, that theme park vacation, and eating a lot of crap food as well too. That this is exactly what I need. Okay, I want to go back. Where are we here? I just want to share some of these comments because they're really beautiful. I love my morning beach walk. There's a spot I go to where there's freshwater springs bubbling up out of the sand. Oh, that must be beautiful. Connection, right? Connection, and that's got that sense of it's purifying as well as energizing, right? It's really beautiful. Would you say that being a Leo fire, that you resonate with the elemental influences of earth and water to create that balance? Yes, Emily, and I have over time really started to embrace and understand that more. And to when the fire becomes excessive, because I also, and I'm fortunate, I have a Capricorn moon. So I do have earth in my chart as well too. And fortunately, I don't have a lot of air, because I find air would just exacerbate the fire in my chart. So yeah, and the more awareness I have, the more I've been able to find the peace and the calm with everything. Okay. Love the conversations that you're having. Yes, the negative ions, the Maui beach walks. Okay. Hi, Veronica Jude. Welcome. White Sage Tarot calms me down like that. It's like a breath. Yes, White Sage is very peaceful. It is. Yeah, and I totally get that energy with that too. So any deck that has that calm vibe is what I would take on a vacation to somewhere that was a little frenetic. Like if I went to Las Vegas, if I went to Las Vegas or something like that, that would definitely. Andrew, you have such a good memory. Oh my goodness. Such a good memory. All right, so let's go on to the next one. So the next vacation is a cultural vacation. Visit art galleries, catch a Broadway show, listen to a concert. I have never done, I'm just looking for my bags because this is going to be a deck nightmare. I really want to go to France, the UK, Prague, different places like that, and do some kind of a cultural tour. There's a lot of Croatia to look at the architecture, and one of my favorite decks. And I also love this deck because of the guidebook that comes with it. And this is the Beautiful Rebellion Tarot, and I have no idea what the new version of the deck. It's also available in, there's a new version. I don't know what it looks like. This is Robin Cole, creator of Emerging from Darkness. And in the guidebook, she has, so if this were a landscape painting, you get to see the whole painting, and you get to see the piece of the art that she chose. And so when I think of art decks, I think this is my favorite. Definitely when I pull this deck out, it just kind of calms me down. And of course, I love that Radon deck that I got in the summer, the one from Melissa Wotherspoon. I love that one too, but there's something about the art and the art galleries. And one of the things that might be really cool to do is to take a deck like this and to go and see some of these paintings live, right? So to take the card and hold up the card in the gallery and have that experience, so that when you were working with the deck, you had this kind of magnetic connection between the actual artwork and your cards. Wouldn't that be cool? I would love, love, love to do that. Okay. I do not have a cat's deck. No, I do not. Okay. So yeah, so this is my cultural deck, and oh my, I love the Seven of Swords with her listening at the wall. I haven't had this out in ages, and maybe I just need to leave this out on my table. This Ace of Wands, I believe, is one of the paintings of Morgan Le Fay. And this deck also, so this is the cultural tour deck, right? So one of my cultural tours that's on the bucket list is to go to the UK, particularly Wales, and to take my Llewellyn deck and to take some of my Celtic decks and to find some of those locations and to really feel that energy. And of course, the energy of Morgan Le Fay is connected all through the whole, like different places all over. And her energy as a high priestess, her energy as a healer, as a witch, there's so much to that. So I think this is a really, really good deck to take as a cultural vacation. Okay. This is called the Beautiful Rebellion Tarot by Robin Cole. Yeah, if somebody want to type that into the chat, that would be fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next one, which is the Adventure Vacation. Safari, mountain climbing, dig for treasure, and what's your pleasure? So I have quite a few. Nancy she shared, I believe, her, I was going to say onyx, dust to onyx deck. That's what she shared. And I've never been to the continent of Africa. That's one thing that's missing from my journey so far. And so I would really take my time as I journeyed around the subcontinent. And that, of course, it's not a subcontinent, it's a continent, and take my time and go multiple times. So that's definitely on my bucket list, is to do that. But I was thinking of something else as a prompt for this question. And that is to actually go and there's a couple of places I want to go. So I want to go to John of God and to some of the crystal sites in South America, and to actually walk in and to see, like, go into the crystal caves and so forth. And for that reason, I would take the Telluric Tarot, because there's quite a few of the crystals in this deck that I really want to see and go and experience. So part of this bucket list is to go to Russia and go to the part of the Russia where shungite is mined, and I want to go to India, to the Nirmala Valley, where the Shiva Lingams come out of the earth. And so this is a huge cultural tour where I go all over the earth and to the source of some of these beautiful, beautiful rocks. And I think the motivation for this is to go and feel them and experience them in the place where they are, not necessarily bringing them all home, and to feel what it feels like to be with them where they are supposed to be. And then, of course, if I could go into Pakistan, go into the back of, like, into the Himalayas, and there's quite a few gemstones there that I'm really interested in, and to, like, azurite, the K2 granite, and just to do that. So I want to take the tarot and go around to a bunch of different sites around the planet. Like, this makes me so excited. I would love to do this. I'd like to go on a crystal tour of the world. Imagine that. That would be so freaking amazing. Yeah. So that's my adventure vacation, because I think when we're doing this, there's going to be a lot of walking. You know, you don't just drive up to a mine. This is pretty powerful. Okay. So Nancy's here. Hello, Nancy. Where are we at? So next is the educational adventure. And Nancy also put an archaeological dig in this one. Tarot convention, study with the Dalai Lama, learn a language. What do you want to explore? Okay. So what I want to explore is and what I want to, oh, I've got other decks here I haven't shared with you. Oh, well, is astrology. And I would like to, actually, there's two things I want to explore. This is the astrological deck by Julia Kuchia-Watts, and the Ascendant, Midheaven, Descendant. And so what I would like to do for my educational vacation is to take a Vedic astrology course, actually with a Vedic astrologer in India, perhaps, and to join that up with some of the other things that I want to do. And so this deck is heavily based in moon energy. And if you're interested in studying this deck, Amber at Lavender Moon is doing a course with Julia right now, and I plan to watch this in the replay. And there's also a book that goes with this, and for me it was just too expensive to get the book and this deck at the same time. But there is something, oh, I have other decks I'm going to share. I might have to go back and retrace my steps because there's a lot of decks on my table here. So there's something about studying astrology, and that is definitely high up there. Now there are some, I hope everybody knows this deck, this beautiful deck by, I was going to call him Andrew, but his name's not Andrew. Oh my, Patrick Fogarty. This is an incredible deck, and I'm going to share this deck probably on Sunday quite a bit when I do my tarot-thon. For those of you, I hope everybody knows tarot-thon is on Sunday, and there's the banner in case you don't know this. But I will be definitely using this deck as part of my topic on Sunday. And I want to learn more, and I have this real passion for watching the stars. And so as part of this educational tour, there are some places where there's famous telescopes and so forth. Or there's places in the world where there's been amazing sightings of UFOs and all of that. So this is a big topic for me, and I want to do this. Now the other decks that I do not have are by Astro Orb. Is that right? Astro Orb. If somebody can type that into the chat, that would be great. astroorb.com, I think it is. And there's a Vedic astrology deck, there's an astrology deck, and they've come out with a new tarot deck. And so this, I think it's called the Fortuna Tarot. And all of those decks are on my wish list. And I might bite the bullet because they have a special price right now for all three decks. It's going to be some like close to 200, I don't know, It's like 150 pounds or something to get all 3 of them here, but we'll see what happens with that. I doubt that's going to happen. It's just way too much money. It's like I also have the 3 red seeds oracles in a box somewhere, and that hasn't happened. Okay, so let us go to the chat. I totally got a crystal tour of the world. Oh, you would go on. Yeah, wouldn't that be amazing, Jonathan? Why not go to the moon? Now, Nancy, that is a brilliant idea, right? Why not just look at it? Why not go to it? Yes, and Jonathan and I are back to back. So, I just thought of something, Jonathan. It might be kind of fun if you popped on to the end of mine and I popped on to the beginning of yours. I forget what order we're in. We should talk. Maybe there's something that we could do, like kind of unique to connect our 2 time slots together. Anyway, have a think about that. It might be fun. Astro Orb. Okay, so these are the astrology decks that I was talking about that I'm really interested. Astro Orb doesn't deliver anything. Okay. I was able to get it to deliver to Canada, I thought, but maybe I'm wrong there. So my time is 9 p.m. Pacific, which is midnight Eastern time. And if you go to my thumbnail, all the times are on my thumbnail in British summertime as well as Pacific time. So you can go and check it out there. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, I'm going to try to put a spiffy on. Yeah. So Jonathan, let's chat and maybe we can do something really fun and funky for that. Okay. So let me carry on with this because I feel like I'm going down a rabbit hole here. The 7th one is the haunted vacation. Ever wanted to go on a ghost hunt, stay at a haunted house, or tour a spooky castle? The answer is yes, yes, and yes, all of the above. Please take me there. I will sign up on your tour. No problem. Not afraid of ghosts and all of that. And I actually have been a part of a clearing. So when I lived in Whistler, there was a building that needed clearing, and I was a part of that because it had transformed into a gym, and they needed to. It was just not a pleasant thing. So I was part of that. So I've done that kind of thing, and I know throughout the US. So this is another tour that could happen when I get my caravan, and to go across the US to different sites, different haunted houses and things like that. I know in the eastern part of the US, northeast US, there's a lot of sites that are kind of together. Kim Kranz talks about a couple of these in one of her interviews. So what would I take on a ghosty vacation? There's a couple of things. So an obvious one is ghosts and spirits. So this is the Lisa Hunt deck. I think having a deck like this might help me to, a deck like this might help me to connect to, let me take off the Tarot-thon banner. It might help me to just begin, like to open the portal. I mean, I have no problems opening portals and connecting and things like that, but I actually haven't worked with this deck. I got it because I saw that it was going out of print. It was hard to get copies of it, so I quickly snapped it up, but I'm very intrigued with this deck. I actually like this deck much better than her Fairy Tale Tarot deck, because I feel like the Fairy Tale Tarot deck is it's so much work, just way too many fairy tales that I don't know about. So this is Lisa Hunt's Ghosts, this one. So that's one. And then I also, and I'm going to put this out there into the same genre, is I want to go to New Orleans. for many, many reasons. But when I think about that, I think about connecting to the spirits and the ancestors in a different way. And the Hoodoo Tarot, I feel, is a really wonderful deck to connect with spirit. And I have worked with this one a little bit more than the one I just showed you. I feel, and you know, the thing I like about this deck is that it really respects and brings in all of the souls, not just from Africa, but there were root workers from China and the coolies from India, and this deck brings in a lot of I don't know, I feel very like if I took this deck with me to New Orleans or just a tour of the South and was connecting with spirit and going to spiritual gatherings in the South, this is the deck without doubt I would take with me. I have so much respect for the kind of medicine and well, they're called root workers, right? Because they, you know, I'm the kind of person that likes to bring in connections. And even just hearing the word root worker, you know, and takes me to the root chakra, the connections of the families, and going back through the DNA of time and all of our connections through the web of life. And I don't know, this would be a really, really cool vacation to go on. And I have a feeling I might end up getting an apartment and staying for a while, because I would be so very, very intrigued with this experience. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do the last category, and then I'm going to go back and share with you a few other things that are on the table. So I know Nancy talked about festivals. And so I've added a category and I called it Festival Time. And I was thinking about the many, many festivals all over the world that I have never been to, like Burning Man. I've never been to Burning Man in Nevada. I've never been to Carnival in Rio, nor have I been to Mardi Gras in New Orleans or Dia de los Muertos. I've never been to Mexico to one of those festivals. Where I have been to festival, and I would love to, I'm just going to share a little bit about this, is Yuki Matsuri in Hokkaido. I was there for probably 4 or 5 days when I was in my 20s. And this snow festival in Hokkaido is just freaking amazing. So that whole boulevard in Sapporo is, that whole boulevard up and down both sides is full of vendors and ice sculptures from one end to the other. And at nighttime, things are lit up with laser lights, and there's beer gardens outside in the ice, and you can smell the food and the people, and it's an incredible festival. Of course, there's music as well too, and there's another site that's a little further off, and so that's that's probably the biggest festival I've ever been to. In those 3 years that I lived in Japan, I loved Bon Odori. So in the summer, Obon time, I really, really enjoyed that whole experience of putting on a yukata. So freaking hot and humid in the summer. You know, you come back and your yukata is soaking wet, but going around to the festivals and all of the stuff that's going on. So I love festival culture, but there's many, many festivals that I haven't been to. And in that list, I was also thinking of, I've never been to Holi when it's in India. So I've never been to Holi in that season. So I could be going to Pakistan or Nepal or India. So I'd like to be there for Holi. And then, well, there was a whole bunch. So many festivals, so many places I would love to go. So festival culture. I guess it depends where you go. So if you're going to go to Day of the Dead, I would take the Santa you know the deck I'm talking about. I don't have that deck in my collection. I really need to get that deck in my collection. And here's one thing that's way, way up on my wish list is, you know, that deck, it comes in a coffin box. It came as a special edition in a coffin box with coffin shaped cards, I believe. So if I ever found that, I would put that deck in my collection. But an obvious choice for festival culture, especially if you're going to something like Burning Man, or you have that kind of, you know, I mean, light Sears is just such a festival kind of deck. You know, it's got that youthful energy, and I feel like one of the things that I like about this deck is it connects me to the energy of festivals, spiritual festivals. And when I look at this deck, you know, I want to be back in my 20s or 30s dressed like this and very light clothing and be dancing all night long. And yeah, so Light Sears definitely reminds me of festival culture. Let's just go here. Santa Muerte limited edition. Yes. So I would love to find that deck. Amy did Burning Man in 2005. Yes. So this is definitely a Burning Man deck. I feel that. I mean, look at this card. What is this? This is the Four of Wands. Such a Burning Man card. I'm surprised Chris Ann didn't actually put in an image of the Burning Man statue itself. But, or look, this Two of Pentacles, right? It's such a that festival dance vibe. Okay, so there's a few other decks on my here that have to do with this theme that I pulled out, and so I thought I would just share them with you because I got them out. And what are they? Okay, so as part of the traveling thing, I want to go to. I was talking about. I don't know where this comes in. So this is the Rosetta. Do you know this deck, the Rosetta Tarot? And one of the things that I like about this deck are the hieroglyphs that are on the bottom. And when you buy this deck, you get this little key. And so in part of, this is a Thoth-based deck, is to connect with the hieroglyphs. And I think any deck that has hieroglyphs and special little symbols on it is really, really powerful. So I want to take this deck and go to places like Egypt or Turkey or that part of the world, and to be in the connecting to the earth, to the ancient civilizations. And so I would take this deck with me to that part of the world because I want to learn more about this, and I want to learn and I want to connect more to the mythology, and I want to feel the mythology. I want to live the mythology of this. Hi, Donna. Hey, Donna. Oh, I'm glad. Washing the dishes. And Jonathan was at Burning Man in 1997. Oh, you were invited, but you still haven't gone. Oh, wow. Yeah. And you have the Rosetta, but deep dive still. Okay, so yeah, so I want to take this deck with me to that part of the world. So this is one that is a future, definitely it's a future project for me. And I went and I bought the extra book. So I'm ready to go with that. And then the other one that's on my table, which I feel is kind of part of my my art tour. So I was showing you the Beautiful Rebellion Tarot, and this crystal tarot, I'm so in love with this deck. And it has this real otherworldly quality to it. And there's something about the art. And so I want to also experience this as connecting to art. And I just love this art style. And I could imagine going on it, like looking for mosaic also to add to this tour, places where there's famous mosaics. Yeah, this is, if you don't know this deck, this is the Crystal Tarot. So this is one that I feel that I would connect more with if I could to be with the art. But I don't know, it's a pretty special deck for me. I really took my time in trimming this deck to get to know it. And another, of course, another fascination with this deck are the minors, because the minors are absolutely stunning. Stunning. Yeah. So many decks you could take on an art tour, right? You could just like have a serious suitcase. So imagine going through customs, right? And you've got your little bag and you've got all your little tarot decks and your crystals and like, how many of you have been stopped going through security at the airport with all your magical mystery items and have had these conversations with the custom guys? It's really funny. It's really funny. I have one more deck I'm going to show you, and then I'll be done for today, because I know I've kept you quite a while. I would love to hear your stories about going through customs and having decks and having conversations about tarot decks and so forth with the customs officers, because I've had some pretty funny ones. Okay, bye, Amy. Miss Sadhana, how do you retain all that you learn? The glyphs would cause me to retreat. You know, I take it slowly, right? And I haven't absorbed this all in a matter of 5 years, right? This has been quite a long journey. I've been reading the tarot for well over 20 years, more like 25 years. And so these things that I've studied have come bit by bit. And many of the decks that I have worked with, I've worked with for like more than a year at a time. And I used to be, so when I was more of a neophyte, I would spend, I would have the same deck out for a year, and I never was a daily draw kind of person, but I would do, draws a couple times a week. And so I really took the time to get to know the stuff that I had. So that's a good question. Patience and time, right? Everybody wants a quick answer to this question. It can get really, it's hard. And it helps too that I'm, oh, Kristen, I'm not, okay, I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to receive that. And the other thing is that, the other thing I wanted to say is the openness. So often I will have learned something, and then maybe I will have the privilege of being with an enlightened being from a different school of thought, or I will learn something in a new way. And so I'm open. I'm open to hearing it from another perspective. And rather than getting frustrated with that other perspective, I let that become a new layer. And I take my time. That's why I called my channel. That's why I called my business Integrative Healing, because I truly, truly do have many, many layers of teachings here. And it's not just here. It's here, right? It's here. It's here. It's here. Like, I have embodied these teachings. And that's why I think this is a fantastic tag, because if you actually go to some of these places and you learn to connect with your cards in a new way, it really does become special. Like when I cracked open Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot, you can go back. I mean, I don't have a lot of posts on my Instagram post, and there's a photo of the day that I cracked this open on my Instagram. And I was in Maui, and I cracked it open in front of the ocean, and I imbued it with that beautiful Kanapali Bay energy, and it was pretty special. It was a birthday gift to myself. So the last deck I wanted to share with you was this one, which I have shown on my channel. This is the Botanica. And there's a couple of reasons why I would travel with this deck. And I would take this on a few different vacations. I would take this on a vacation for, I was talking about the chill energy, you know, like sometimes when we're on vacation, we need to relax when we get back to our room, and we need to let go. And I feel very peaceful energy with this deck. I love that the background is black, and it makes me feel calm. And I love reading the guidebook and connecting to the plants and so forth. And then another reason I would want to travel and have a Botanica deck with me when I'm traveling is because a lot of the plants and many of the botanical decks that I have aren't native to where I live. And so if I had an opportunity, again, same thing, right? So to connect with the plant in person, that would be a compelling reason to carry this kind of deck with me when I was traveling. Okay. And you know what? It's so common, right? It's so common to have this level of impatience. Yeah. And I think that no matter where I went, I would take a plant deck. And I really love this one. This one is so stunning. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah. All right. Well, my friends, that is a wrap. That is a wrap for today. I am just going to do one more pitch. One more pitch. Uh-oh. Okay. So what is going on? Sunday. So I said Sunday is Tarot-thon, right? So on Sunday, my topic is bring back the significator. This is something that's, I would say, only 2 years ago that I started to really start to embrace the whole idea of having more focus on my table. And I really started to use more spreads that had intention in them. I did a lot of, for years, I've done just these free flow intuitive readings. I put the cards down, and I always place them like I have intention with where I lay my hands and so forth. But Sunday, I'm going to talk about really focusing in, and how focus on a reading and significators can really help. They can help so much to find more to talk about and to bring more connection. So that's my topic on Sunday. And then Wednesday next week is I'm doing the Read With Me 2 class. And the Read With Me 2 class is a 4-week class that talks about tarot and timing and working with the as astrological associations in the tarot, the lunar associations, the different seasons, and the different aspects of timing that exist in our world, in our life, and how we can lay that on the table as a layer to inform our readings. Because there's a lot of people that ask about more fortune telling kind of readings, and what I like to do is to see if the querent is in sync with the cycle or not in sync with the current cycle, or if there's certain things about what's going on in the environment right now that can help inform the question. And so this course, Read With Me 2, is about that. It's about cycles and timings. And we're going to look at Wheel of the Year readings and year ahead spreads, and anything that has to do with timing is part of this course. So that starts on Wednesday. Okay. That's it. That's a wrap. And I am really excited to see some of you on Sunday. And thank you. Thank you for being here. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful chat today. So I want to wish you a great rest of your weekend. I'm just going to go back to the chat. See if there's anything that I missed. There was one question. Oh, this is the one though. Okay. I try to avoid dogma and just be open to learning a subject from many points of view. So very, very, very important. Not true. Not true. Not true. Okay. I passed on this deck and backed Notoria of Light instead. I will have to look at Notoria of Light. I have not seen that one. Not seen that one. Okay. You do know some plants, Kristen. Yes, and part of the Chinese medicine school, of course, is to learn about herbology. And so I have had the privilege of listening to my daughter, who's been going to Chinese medicine school for years. And so I also have that, that conversation going on all the time. And when she does come to visit, she's foraging, and she's taught me a lot about that sort of thing. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Excellent. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you all very, very soon. Namaste. Be kind to one another, and especially to yourself. Bye for now.